runners, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is June. This is June Running. Whether hitting the pavement or simply tuning in for the first time, I'm covering my Chicago Marathon training block for 2024. Let's lace it up and let's get started. Said runners or non-runners. If you are tuning in for the first time, I'm covering my Chicago Marathon training block. This is week 7, and before I get into week 7 specifics, it was such a difficult week that I wanted to tune in and cover 10 things on sticking with the plan, staying positive. Because this week I had to remind myself that there are bigger plans ahead, and this is all part of the process. So for me, I began running in October of 2023. I did my first official run with Bank of America Shamrock Shuffle back in March, which was a 5-miler. Did a half marathon with Bank of America as well in June. And now I decided to go for all the marbles, as they say, and challenge myself for the 26.2 in October. So we're almost halfway through the training block. I wanted to challenge myself and do something out of the ordinary. I had a couple of buddies who have completed several runs and marathons. So using that as motivation that if we set our mind to something, we and do it. 3, 2, 1. And to ensure that I didn't forget my 10 things to stay positive and to stick with the plan, I jotted some things down that I wanted to cover. So before I get into those 10 things, I completed a long run of 14 or 15. GPS was kind of wacky this week. But I struggled, and if it wasn't for a friend who pushed me to complete this run this week, I would have honestly quit within mile 5-ish. I didn't prepare as I should have. I didn't take it seriously, thinking, okay, we're just gonna cruise by. But the person I ran with is a faster runner, has different paces. But they were gracious enough to hold themselves back and stick with me in that 14.2. My GPS said 15.2-ish. So, around 14 and a half to 15 is what we completed. But with that said, point number 1, let's go. Point 1 is setting clear goals. So defining specific, achievable goals, staying motivated, and tracking progress. So if this is your first time tuning in, I am utilizing for this training block the Runna application. And what I love is that, based on what you answer to certain questions, it sets a specific plan at hand for you. So I'm following it to the T as best as I can. I am doing some modifications depending on how my shin splints are acting up or not. So being flexible with that. But again, setting the clear goals. So I have a daily goal of what needs to be completed. I have a weekly goal of what needs to be completed. And of course, the overall goal of the marathon, 26.2. Set clear goals and get them done. Point number 2 is creating a schedule. So plan your runs and workouts in advance and integrate them into a daily routine, right? So what I do is ahead of my runs, for example, if I have a run tomorrow, whether it's today or tonight, I plan my day. So I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and I have 2 dogs. So I have to see when I can schedule in my run without affecting the routine of dropping my daughter or picking her up from school, ensuring that I have quality time with the family, walking the dogs, playtime. So I'm ensuring that my day is set, and of course work, right? And ensuring that I'm able to complete the run in a timely fashion, and as well that whatever mileage I have ahead of time can be completed. So I plan my runs and my day ahead of time. Create a schedule. Número tres, that is Spanish for 3, is using a training log. So recording long distances, your runs, monitor your progress, and hold yourself accountable. I'm doing this through the notes section of the Runner application. So after my run, I like to jot quick notes on how I felt overall, if I was able to finish, if I wasn't, if I could have gone stronger or not, and what things came into a factor, right, into the run. And I try to adjust accordingly. Number 4, find a running buddy. So partner up with a friend or a running group for motivation and social support. So this weekend running with a buddy was the first time I actually ran with someone else. And the great thing, right, is it kept me accountable and it pushed me to finish. Is finding a running buddy or partner or friend, someone that can join you for motivation or even groups. So I live in the suburbs of Chicago. I'm considering joining a group, but a lot of these are in the city, and commuting there, since I already do it for work, will be kind of difficult. So this weekend, I partnered with a buddy who kept me accountable. And honestly, if it wasn't for them, I would have quit at mile 5 just because I know it was not going to be a good run. However, for the sake of not wasting their time and some accountability, I pushed myself to run. And although the last couple miles were pretty unbearable, we pushed it through, we completed it. And thanks to them, they held themselves back since they are a much faster runner, and stuck with me, and just pushed me, saying, hey, you think you can run, some of this mile? You think you can run to that distance over there? And my answer is, I'll definitely try. And it went pretty well overall. And again, look for a group or someone that can motivate you to get things done. Number 5, mixing it up. So vary routes, speeds, types of runs, keep your training interesting and prevent boredom. So the great thing about the Runner app is that it does give easy runs, tempo runs, long runs. So one thing I'm working on now is trying to switch up where I run. Even if it's running the route backwards, I ran the route so many times that I typically do that I already know where the mile markers are. So that can play a role in a good or bad way. If it's a long distance, I'm like, man, I need to get there to, for this mileage. Or sometimes I'm like, okay, here are the points. As long as I get there, we're good. So trying to avoid the boredom and just routine, I'm starting to switch up the routes. And for the sake of the marathon, I will be doing a lot more runs in the downtown area just to get accustomed to, the scenarios, the buildings, the routes, and even the folks I'll be encountering. Number 6, staying flexible. So adjust plans as needed, accommodate unexpected events or changes in schedule. So this is something I've been doing since the beginning of when I started running last year, October. So weather is pretty unpredictable. So depending on weather or life events, again, I try to set things on schedule ahead of time. However, if the day doesn't go according to plan, then I will adjust accordingly and try to get the run, whether it's in the morning or evening, completed. But one thing is for sure, we're gonna get it done sometimes. Number 7, celebrate small wins. Recognize and reward yourself for reaching milestones and maintain motivation. So I said this in an earlier video where when I began running, and I looked back, right, my mile average was around 13 minutes 40 seconds. And that was, I couldn't run a full mile, so I was running and walking, running and walking. So the first time I ran a full mile, I got home and I was bragging to the family, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did a full mile without stopping. That increased to 2 miles, 3 miles, 4, 5, 6, etc. So those are the small wins to celebrate. And that's the mentality that I'll engage for this 26.2 mile run that I've never completed before. So rather than saying, and I know it's weird, but it works for me, rather than saying, oh, I have 25 miles to go, or vice versa, right? Only 1 mile or 2 miles, is focusing on what's next, right? Mile 1 completed. All right, next mile, next mile, next mile. And it works. A lot of this is a mental game. As long as you stick to the plan and train properly, we're gonna do well. And if this is your first time running, you're gonna do well. And like I keep saying, I don't care if I'm walking or have to take an Uber. I'm crossing that that finish line from October. Invest in quality gear. I don't like spending money if I don't have to. Now for this event coming up, I did have an earlier video where I bought the Nike Alpha Fly 3s, which is going to be my marathon shoe. If you want to check it out, I'll post, or you can go into the channel and look it up. But anyways, as far as clothing, I'm trying different types of shorts and tights. I've gone on Amazon, H&M, and Nike, so I'm rotating between those. And honestly, the cheapest pair of tights that I have through Amazon has pockets, and they've been working great. So most likely going to use those for the marathon coming up, and as well as investing in different types of quality shirts, brands. I'm still undecided there, as it's some cause chafing, some not. So still trial and error. But again, it doesn't have to be expensive as long as the quality is good. And it's trial and error. I've bought stuff that I don't like, use it once or twice and put it away. And there's others that I don't think are going to work out and work just fine. So look for things that are of quality, look at reviews, utilize it, switch it up. And number 9, prioritize rest and recovery. From reading online and looking at posts, it seems that we all hate rest days because we feel like we're missing out. But I can assure that that is very, very important. Again, give your body time to recuperate, give your body time to heal. So that is something that I am working through as well. So off days are off days. I do absolutely nothing except eat right, and then pick it up again the next day. And last but not least, number 10, stay positive. Focus on your progress. Stay positive. And even when facing challenges or setbacks. And I'll use my my run from this past weekend that went terrible. Right? Left with my head low. And on the drive home, I said, hey, at least we got it done. Now I know what I can expect for the next run that leads me into the 50 mile, 18 mile, 22 mile. But that is the furthest I've ran, and it felt good to knock that off the checklist. So there you go. 10 things to help you stick to the plan and stay motivated. If you're still watching, now I'll break down numbers for week 7. Numbers. So I was scheduled for a total of 37.6 miles, and of course was not close. Monday was scheduled for a 7.5 mile run. I completed 5 miles only at an average pace of 10:52. the goal pace was to not go faster than 10:25. So although I didn't do that, I'm not content with the average pace or the mileage. That leads us to Tuesday. We completed a lower body and strength workout per the Runner app. And then on Tuesday, we were scheduled for a 6.3 mile run. However, due to shin splints, I skipped the run and completed a 13.7 mile indoor bike ride with the Peloton. As I've mentioned previously, that is a 3-to-1 ratio. So roughly about 4 miles or so completed on the bike. So because of these shin splints, and I knew I was going to meet up with a buddy on Saturday for a 14.8 mile run, I skipped Wednesday, I skipped Thursday, and my issue came on Friday where I decided to go out with the family and have a great time eating and having great conversations. Went to bed late, and that's why I paid the price on Saturday. So on Saturday, again, although we did complete the 14.8 miles, it was roughly over 3 hours. Average pace of, I have it here, of 10 minutes, 54 seconds, but I believe it was more around 12 minutes or so. And I hit the wall at around mile 13. I just had to walk. My feet were in pain. My upper back was in pain. But kudos to my buddy who stuck with me, and we at least got it done. So that's that for week 7. Now we move on to week 8, and then 9 is our halfway mark for the 18-mile training block. So as always, I appreciate you tuning in. Again, my name is June. This is June Running. Adios.